In the name of the Father, Yahweh, who is the creator of all things, who is the only true God, who is above all and deserving of honor and respect, who also set forth salvation for his people through his son Messiah, who is the only begotten of Father, full of perfect righteousness and truth, the Lamb who takes away his sin of his people and instead gives them righteousness in himself. Today we're going to continue our study in Isaiah chapter 40. And as we begin our study, I'd like to look at Psalms 50, the 50th division of the Psalms to start off our study today. The 50th division of the Psalms, Psalms 50. As we're studying Isaiah chapter 40 today, as we mentioned yesterday, it's a message of comfort to the Israelite people. It's a prophetic message of comfort to the Israelite people. It wasn't necessarily their condition at the time of the writing, but it was prophetic comfort to the Israelite people, basically us. Prophetic comfort to us who live in the end of time, the end of all things. This morning I got up and I was praying, and I was impressed to pray regarding the current situation on planet Earth. So much evil is going on. Today, I was looking at some YouTube videos about news from the nation of Colombia. Now, in Colombia, many people don't realize there are actually tens of millions of Hebrews in Colombia, tens of millions. And as a matter of fact, Colombia has one of the largest populations of Hebrews in the world. When I say Hebrews, I'm talking about so-called Negroes. And there are 20 million Colombians, mostly black and brown, that are starving to death. Why are they starving to death? Because like our government in the United States, the government of Colombia decided to put everybody on lockdown because of this coronavirus. The difference is they did not send any money to the people there. They did not give them any unemployment. They did not give them any stimulus at all. And so the people are in lockdown and not able to work, not able to earn an income, and not able to buy food. Colombia is one of the world's leading exporters of coffee and bananas, including plantain. And they're a large exporter of things like rice as well. They export these things. So you would think that in the midst of the greatest crisis we have seen in over 100 years, to put it conservatively, that the government would use its own resources, its rice, its plantains, whatever else they're growing. They also ship out a lot of cattle. You would think they would use their beef, their rice, their coffee, their plantains and bananas, their avocados for their own people, right? I mean, that makes sense, right? Especially since they export tons of this stuff every year. So what's going on then? What is going on where you have a country that grows things naturally? It's part of their agriculture, and their own people are starving. What is going on? You know what it is? It's called corruption. Somebody might ask, and it's a good question. I asked it myself. Why would a government allow its own citizens to starve? Why would a government allow its own citizens? What is the point of allowing its own citizens to starve and to struggle like that? What is the point? What does it accomplish? Who benefits from that? Let's think about it. The wealthier people, Your upper, they call it the management class. That's what the term is, professional management class. The more educated people and upper class people, upper middle class, upper class, they're going to get what they need. They're not going to starve. Okay? But they want to make sure that they keep the poorer classes under control. It's very simple, really. Just think of it as a master-slave dynamic. In slavery, masters wanted to keep the masses of slaves under control. So they overworked them and underfed them. Fed them just enough so that they can keep working. And when they died, there was no problem. They were like widgets. They could be replaced with more slaves. And the older ones were just an expense. They couldn't work as hard as the younger ones, so they just let them die. That's exactly what's going on here. It's now on a corporate level. It's a corporate level because this earth is being run by corporations. Corporations are controlled by individuals you can't see. Corporations are not people. They're controlled by people, but they're not people. The most powerful corporations on earth are churches, not 501c3 corporations. Why is that? Because they collect a lot of money and they pay nothing out. They collect a lot of money and they pay nothing out. Especially since we understand from Revelation chapter 7 that the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns and crowns on his horns. I'm sorry, chapter 13, excuse me, is being given power, seat, and authority from the dragon, the devil, and is deceiving the whole earth. Okay? This dynamic is taking place in Colombia, but Colombia is just a sample. It's also taking place here in America. It's the same thing. Why do you think they want to reopen and all this stuff and don't give you enough to pay your rent? And implying that you're lazy if you don't want to go out and get sick. And then at the same time telling you need to get tested. Let's think about this for a second. Our government is telling people they need to get tested, right? So let's say you go get tested. You go get tested and you find out you have the virus and you must be treated. Do you have money to get treated? Because that's what it's going to take. See, it's a scam. They want you to get tested so you can get treated, but you can't pay for the treatment. So what happens? Let me tell you something right now. The government has not come out with statistics to tell you how many people have died in nursing homes. People, individuals that care have gone out and just found out that in Black and brown neighborhoods, majority of people are dying from this thing that are dying in the regular. It's majority of them because they can't afford to get tested. They can't go. See, again, the wealthier people, they're going to be all right. If there's a cure, they're going to know about it before the rest of us, right? They're going to be all right. But what is this doing? It kills off the elderly. Why does it kill off the elderly? Well, they can make some money on the elderly, but they're more of an expense, right? So they rather get rid of it. And although mostly it's Black and brown people suffering, all people, if you're poor, you suffering. And let me tell you something. As a percentage, right? Let me break this down for you. You know, it's a little bit of math, but I'm gonna make it very easy. Let's say there's 50 Black and brown people, and let's say there's 100 Caucasian people. Okay, there's 100 Caucasian people, and there's 50 Black and brown people. Okay, let's say out of the 100 Caucasian people, 30 of them are sick and poor and can't afford treatments, and a lot of them will die. But of the Black and brown people, let's say there's 30 of them also that are sick and poor. So if you have 100 people and 30 are sick, that's 30% of that people. It's a large amount. But if you have 50 people and 30 of them are sick, that's 60% of the black and brown people. That's exactly what's going on now. So in terms of numbers, they're very similar in terms of raw numbers. There's poor Caucasian people that are getting suffered and they're being exploited too. But they're being brainwashed. And they think because they're Caucasian, it can't be as bad as we think it is. That's why you got people in some of the poorest, lowest income areas like West Virginia that vote for people that work against them because of the color of their skin. It's brainwashed. They're being exploited. Okay, they're being exploited. And of course, as black and brown people, we already know we're being exploited. So they reduce the elderly and they cause the poor to now beg for help. So you bring them to heal because they're begging for your help. They're wondering, are you going to help us? Okay? That's the point. It's for control. It's evil. It's evil. It's for control. And they've been getting over with this for a while now. That's why I turned to Psalm 50. Let's look at it. Psalm 50. Let's see. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to start at verse 1, though. I'm going to start at verse 1, and I'm going to read down to verse 15. I might read the whole thing. It's just because it's apropos for what we're talking about today. Because, brothers and sisters, at this time, I got on my knees. I told you, I got on my knees this morning, and I was just begging the Most High, put an end to this stuff, man. I don't care if I'm ready. See, that's why I'm starting to understand what John meant when he said, even so, come, Lord, come. Because you know what, brothers and sisters, whether I'm ready or not, this stuff's got to end, man. This stuff's got to end. This exploitation of poor people and the killing and the control by wicked people at high levels, this has got to come to an end. It's got to stop. And I suggest to all listening to me, start praying that it comes to an end, whether you're ready or not. Do you care about, there's people that are being exploited, people that are sick, people that are born with evil diseases. It's wickedness. That's why the good news is what it says in the seventh trumpet of Revelation. He's going to destroy them, which destroy the earth. It's coming. And I praise y'all that we're in the time where it's coming, because this has got to stop. This is some craziness, man. And we're going to see more as time goes on. And I'm learning that billionaires don't think they have enough. Isn't that amazing? Somebody with 1,000 millions doesn't feel they have enough. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough power. Greed knows no end, man. It's like pride. But the good news is, no pun intended, righteousness is going to win. Righteousness is going to win. Psalm 50. Al Shaddai, even Yahweh, have spoken. And the earth, and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion's perfection of beauty, Yah shine. Our Most High shall come, and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for the Most High is judge himself. Hear, O my people, he's speaking to us. Hear, O my people, and I will speak. O Israel, and I will testify against thee. Ahia, the Most High, even thy Most High. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto the Most High thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High. And call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. What's all this mean? People run to churches and give money that they don't even have to pimps. Most High is saying, I don't need your money. I don't need your money. See, they were offering all these type of sacrifices to try to, at that time, in the day, that time, to try to satisfy the Most High. I don't need you to be killing all these cows for me. If I was hungry, I wouldn't call you. I own all the cows. And let's say about these paper dollars. Does the creator of the earth really need paper dollars? Does he? What did he say? Offer thanksgiving. Pay thy vows to the Most High. That is, brothers and sisters, as Israelites, what's the vow? All that Yahweh have said we will do and be obedient. That's the vow. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yah and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For Yah will bring into judgment every secret thing, whether it be good or evil. Stop being taken and fooled and deceived. You want to wake up? Righteousness is going to win. It's ugly right now. It's going to get uglier too. But righteousness is going to win. Let's continue. Now, he talked in the first part of this song to his people, telling his people more than just money or sacrifices of things. Give yourself to him. Perform your vows. Be obedient to him. And we understand where that obedience comes from. Obedience to the Father comes from his spirit of righteousness. We understand that. That's what he's looking for. He don't care about your money. Stop giving to churches. They're ripping you off. Let me just make it very plain for you. The Christian churches are ripping you off. If you want to keep your head in your behind or in the sand, as it were, and just keep writing checks and giving it to them, especially you poor people, and thinking that you're going to get blessed because of that, keep doing that. But we are living at a time, again, where governments are starving and killing their own people. Think about that. 501c3 corporations are just getting richer. And governments are starving and killing their own people in order to crush them and bring them under control, make them beg for basic necessities. So you want to keep your head in your behind and hide? Okay. But the Most High is looking for a remnant that wants reality, wants the real. A remnant that is tired of seeing everybody struggle on this planet. See, brothers and sisters, if you have food and you have a roof over your head, praise the Most High. Amen. Praise the Most High. But also remember, there are millions of people that don't. And it is so bad. It is such a mess that the only way it's going to be stopped is by the Father. Let's continue. Verse 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in your mouth, seeing that thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee? When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother and slanderest thine own mother's son. Yes, for $1, somebody will sell out their mother. That's how bad greed is. It's been done before. In fact, it's done every day, isn't it? These things thou hast done, and I kept silence. This is the thing, brothers and sisters. The Most High has been silent. But the awakening is showing us that silence is going to end very shortly. And when it does, and when he breaks out with his plagues, people are going to wonder why he's being so mean. It's like on 9/11, right? On 9/11, there was an attack on American soil. Now we can discuss, at another time who actually, pulled out this attack. But I will tell you this, even though that attack happened, there were people that were not sad. Who were not sad? They were probably teenage and young men in the Middle East, in Iran or Iraq, whose parents were bombed and their brothers and sisters killed by American planes. They weren't sad that day. Why would they be? There were people whose places like in Africa, whose parents had to go in mines for a few pennies a day and get gold and diamonds for rich Caucasian people in the so-called developed nations. I'm sure they weren't sad either. And yet here in the United States, you had a whole bunch of people saying, why do they hate us? Why do they hate us? He kept silence. When the plagues start to fall, he's not going to be silent anymore. People are going to be saying the same thing. Why is this happening to us? You know why? Because they've been in an alternative reality for centuries. They've been getting over for a long time. So long that they think that this is normal. They've been oppressing the poor and the true people of Yah for such a long time and getting over. They don't understand. They're not even thinking about it. Oh, they nod their head and say, oh, that's too bad. That young boy got shot in the street. Oh, that crack is such a bad thing. Oh, my gosh. They don't care. Because it's the leaders among their people that's putting crack into the neighborhoods. You see, brothers and sisters, you know that place they call the hood? You know the hood, right? The hood is a place, it could be a million, thousands of them in America. But they're generally very poor. They're generally underkept so that there's overgrown grass and garbage there. Then there's guns, plenty of that, and people get shot. Then there's drugs that are being dealt there. So that you might roll up past certain houses and the house be, just look like they're falling apart, and there'd be a nice car with tight rims on it sitting in the front of it. These neighborhoods are created by governments, not residents. Let me say that again. These places that we call the hood is created by government, not residents. And yet, because everybody doesn't live in places like that, they'll say, oh, it's the residents that do that. We need to clean up our own neighborhood. You know what? You're fighting against the government when you're trying to do that because they want it like that. It's a breeding ground for crime, which they profit off of. We talked about for-profit prisons. And of course, the government is involved with the distribution of heroin and crack and opioids. Wait a minute. Don't you realize a lot of these people that are hooked on the opioids, right, which are now mostly the oppressors, they start off getting their drugs from a doctor. Oxycodone, oxyhydro, whatever. And they start getting hooked on that mess. Starting to come back on them. This is a sign because they've been doing it to us for a long time. And they think that because Yah is silent, it's not going to come back on them. But it's already started. And we just need to keep praying that he puts an end to this mess, that this whole thing gets destroyed. Because at the end, when he does that, a kingdom of righteousness is going to be established. And there'll be no more hoods. There'll be no more guns. There'll be no more drugs. There'll be no more murder, exploitation, sadness. There'll be no more of that. That's why all of this has to end as soon as possible. He says, these things thou hast done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself. That's what happened. But he said, I will reprove thee and set them in order before thy eyes. He said, now consider this, ye that forget the Most High, lest I tear you in pieces and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me. And to him that ordereth his conversation aright, I will show the salvation of the Most High. Yes. Conversation is a word for lifestyle, your life, order your life right. What does that mean? To get right with the Most High always talks about overcoming sin, humility, repentance, righteousness. He said, those of you that want to do that, I'll take you in. No problem. Okay? This stuff's got to end. Got to end soon. Now, we're going to go to Isaiah 40 in a few minutes. I wanted to also bring up Isaiah 40 is going to be talking about hope. It's going to be talking about the people that are being oppressed understanding who their God is. See, brothers and sisters, we obviously talk about who the true Hebrews are, and we know they are the Negro people. But I just want to make something very plain to you. No matter what color you are, if you're part of the oppressed people, Most High wants to be with you. If you're part of the oppressed people, no matter what color you are, like you can't choose who your parents are. Like you can't decide you're going to be born Caucasian or Chinese or Japanese. You can't decide if you're going to be born in a palace or a barn. You don't know. You have no control over that. So people that are born where they are, right? So therefore, since the Most High is against oppression, he's against unrighteousness. He hates oppression and unrighteousness and exploitation. He hates it. Because he hates those things, those people that suffer these things, he's with them. He wants to be with them. He wants to deliver them. Whether it's the 30 out of the 100 Caucasians or the 30 out of the 50 Hebrews, he wants to help us. He's against the people doing the exploiting. Now, we know people at the top that are doing this exploiting are generally sons of Yafet, Gog, and Magog. We understand that. But people now that are being exploited, they all colors. Now, the real attack, of course, is on the black man. That's the focus of the attack. It would make sense because he is the image of Jacob, which is the image of Isaac, which is the image of Abraham, who represents Yah's friend, the chosen people who are going to arise and take the kingdom. So they are, of course, they're going to attack the black male. I mean, isn't that what Pharaoh said? Never forget what Pharaoh said. What Pharaoh said was very important. Y'all know what Pharaoh said? Y'all know what Pharaoh said? What did Pharaoh say when the Israelites were in Egypt? What did Pharaoh say? What was his statement concerning the black males? And Pharaoh was a black man too. So it wasn't about that color. It was about who they were. Yes, it's about who they were. Let's look at that real quick, just in case we forget, because this is exactly the situation right now. It's exactly the situation. Okay, Exodus chapter 1. It's very simple. Exodus chapter 1. Notice what it says. Exodus chapter 1. Okay, Exodus chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 8. Well, first let's start at verse 8. And let's go from verse 8 to verse 12. From verse 8 to 12. Now there arose up a new king over Mizraim, or Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto the people, behold, the people of the children of Israel. See, the children of Israel were brown, and the Egyptians were brown. So it wasn't because of the color of their skin. That's something new that's been developed by sons of Yafet. But the exploitation is the same. So they were not scared of them because they were brown. They were scared of them because they were children of Israel. This was the problem. Said, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out the land. Therefore they set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities in Pithom and Raamses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. It's the same. See, the sons of Japhet and those that come from the Germanic tribes of Europe, they have made this into a color issue because by color they can easily distinguish, the Israelites. But it's really who we are that's making them of crazy, because they know we're the children of Israel. And this is the same thing here. Lest they multiply and it come to pass when there falls out any war, they fight with the enemies. See, that's why they keep dangling this carrot. You want to be an American? Prove to us you want to be an American. Fight in our wars for us. You know how many brothers came home in their uniforms to get strung up after fighting for this country? Came home in their uniforms and get strung up or get shot in the street after fighting for this country, trying to prove they're Americans. Why do you think they want you to prove you're an American, though you were born here? Though for 250 to 300 years you gave free labor to this country. Why do they want you to prove it? Because they want you to think there's something for you to gain by their favor. And they take a few of us, the coons, and they exalt them to make you think you can get there too. But this is what they're worried about. They wanted us to fight in Vietnam with the Viet Cong. And Muhammad Ali said it very well. So did Malcolm X. We never had any problem with them people. Well, we got problems here with y'all. They got a problem with them. I'm not fighting them. The same with Iraq, Iran. They attacked America. You American? You gonna fight for us? Brothers and sisters. Same thing. Let's continue on though. They were grieved. They grieved because of us. Our very existence grieves them, yet they want to exploit and kill us and profit off of us to the nth degree. Let's get down a little bit. Verse 21 and 22 of Exodus chapter 1. This is, remember, don't forget, this is what we are dealing with right now. Same thing. Because our deliverance is going to be after the manner of Egypt. The Bible does say that in several places. And it came to pass because the midwives feared Yah that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, watch what Pharaoh said. Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. Every son you cast into the river, every daughter you save alive. Aubrey was a son shot in the street. Trayvon Martin is a son shot in the street. Of dozens, males, enemy number one. But now we understand, because of the wisdom given us from the Father, being the chosen people, that it's just not us. It's a whole bunch of poor people being exploited. But most of them got caught up in the color game that was created by the sons of Japhet to make them feel superior, though you're being exploited. And the middle class among them, they don't want to know. See, this is what they call rugged individualism. This is what they call, you ever heard of this term? You ever heard of this term? American exceptionalism. Look that up when you get a chance. American exceptionalism. What does that mean? That means, brothers and sisters, that America is different from the rest of the earth, that it's above the rest of the earth. That's called American exceptionalism. It's an official doctrine under government, American exceptionalism. You know what it really is? White supremacy. White supremacy. That's what it really is. Now, brothers and sisters, oppression, exploitation, white supremacy are evil things. They create evil results. And evil is going to be destroyed. Don't think for a moment he's just going to take out the good and get rid of the bad. When a house is crooked from its foundation, you got to tear that house down. You can't just rebuild parts of it. If the foundation is crooked, it's got to be torn down. And if he allowed his chosen people to be hung up on crosses for miles and miles by the Romans, if he allowed his chosen people to be castrated by Arabs and by Babylonians, if he allowed his chosen people to be scattered all over the earth because of the sins of going against the covenant, what do you think is going to happen to the heathen? What do you think? Brothers and sisters, it's going to get ugly. You know why? Because Asatan is not going to give up his wicked kingdom without a fight, a very vicious fight. That's where we are. We need to wake up and realize what's going on. Where are we? What's happening? Where are you? Are you just thinking about going to work and struggling for your next bill? I know we all got bills to pay, but that's the game they want you to play. Brothers and sisters, we have to call on the Most High. And you don't need to go to a church building to do that. You got to call on the Most High right now in your living room, in your prayer closet, in your bedroom. Call on the Most High to put an end to this thing. Why do you think? It's no coincidence. Ezekiel chapter 9. Ezekiel chapter 9. Ezekiel chapter 9. Notice what it says in Ezekiel chapter 9. I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 4. Watch this. Ezekiel chapter 9, from 1 to 4. This is us. He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city, talking about Jerusalem, to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. And the glory of the Most High of Israel was gone up from the chair whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that do what? That sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. People that's tired of seeing the oppression, people that's tired of seeing this foolishness, people that's tired of seeing unrighteousness, that are crying to the Most High and saying, deliver us from this, end this. He said, set a mark on their foreheads. Set a mark on them. And by the way, that's an etching, just like it is in Revelation. But we also know it's not a physical mark. It's just telling you, Yah knows those that are his. And the seal of his spirit is what we're talking about. Notice what he said. Verse 5. And to the others he said in mine hearing, in other words, he wanted the prophet to hear this, go ye after them through the city and smite, let not your eye spare. Neither have pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. If judgment first begin at us, Kapha said, what's going to be those that obey not the gospel? The gospel is the power of Yah unto salvation that causes his righteousness to be revealed. So if judgment begins at us, what about the Gentiles? What about the rest of these sons of Yafet that are causing this whole system under our Satan? It's going to get ugly. Never mind the mark of the beast. Sigh and cry. Seek righteousness and get the mark of Yah on your foreheads. He set a mark on those people that were sighing and crying. Never mind the mark of the beast. That's like looking for a counterfeit bill. You know how you can find a counterfeit bill? Know what the real looks like. That's what we used to do. I used to manage banks. Yeah, I did. And that's what his teacher tell us. Know what a real bill looks like. And if you feel it, if it doesn't feel like a real bill, something's wrong. Brothers and sisters, this stuff's got to end, man. We serve the Most High. Now let's begin to look at what our hope is. Okay, what is our hope? Notice again, Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8. Brothers and sisters, you see, this ain't about marching nowhere. It's not. It's not. It's about surrendering to the spirit of the Creator. It's about wanting to give the Creator glory. He's not getting any glory in this messed up. He's not getting any glory when people are being diseased purposely and then trying to tell them you need a test that you can't afford the test or the treatment. Oh my God, it's ugly. And watch how they do this. When you hear this excrement they call politicians, excrement, I'm gonna say it nicely. When you see excrement that they call politicians, stand up and say, well, we need access to health care. You got to understand what they're saying. See, they're talking over your head purposely. But listen and read behind what they're saying. When they say access to healthcare, let me explain to you what that means as we turn to Romans chapter 8. Let me explain to you what that means. I have access to $100 million. That don't mean I could go get it. I have access. I have access to buy a Trump Tower. In other words, I could put in a bid for it. Can I actually buy it? No, but I have access. When they say you have access to healthcare, that means doctors are available. Can you pay for them? No, but they're available. You understand? They're treating you like you're stupid. You know why? Because they have brainwashed and dumbed down this country and this world for a long time. That's why the Bible says the dragon deceiveth the whole world. And that's why we say, brothers and sisters, the truth will make you free. Free from sin. Let's look at this. Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8. I'm gonna start at verse 21 and read from verse 21 down to verse 25. Romans chapter 8 from verse 21 to verse 25. Watch very carefully, brothers and sisters. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption unto the glorious liberty of the children of Yah. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. For we are saved by hope. But hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why does he yet hope for? But if we hope for that which we see not, then we with patience wait for it. Yes, we are saved by hope. What is our hope? Let me show you from the scriptures. Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5. What is our hope? Galatians chapter 5. Brothers and sisters, aren't y'all tired of this? Really, just yesterday, like I said, day before yesterday, that daggone Biden, that excrement running for president. And let me tell you something else. Barack Obama ain't do nothing for you unless you're a homosexual. Unless you're a homosexual. Oh, he loved homosexuals. But other than that, he ain't do nothing. These people don't care about us, man. And don't think because your pastor is nice and he smiles and he yelled in front of a pulpit that he's helping you. They are taking you for a ride. When y'all gonna wake up? Well, the awakening is happening, praise y'all. I guess I'm just being impatient because I'm tired of it. And I see it. The more I seek the word and the more I seek Yah's face, the clearer this becomes to me. How absolutely horrible this situation really is. And they got this thing called, I was talking to y'all about American exceptionalism and rugged individualism. You know what that's a bull crap. You know what that means, right? That means if you made it, you ain't got to worry about nothing else. You got yours. I gotta go get mine. You got yours. That's not the way Yah's kingdom operates. Y'all's kingdom doesn't care if one person gets his and nobody else gets theirs. That's capitalism. That's Catholic. That's fascism. Wake up. Brothers and sisters, if there's people that are oppressed on the earth, everybody's in danger. Just like if there's an evil disease like coronavirus and only 10 people have it, like this dumbass president said, oh, only a few people have it. Now 90,000 people have died. Almost 100,000 people have died. Probably by the end of this month, it'll be over 100,000 people that have died from the coronavirus in the United States. So that if one person has an evil disease, it threatens everybody. You understand? And that principle is all over. So when unrighteousness is in the earth, when exploitation is taking advantage of poor people, brothers and sisters, everybody's in trouble. They just don't realize. Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5, we're going to begin at verse 1 and read from verse 1 down to verse 5. Shaul is saying here, stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Messiah hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Behold, I, Paul or Shaul, say unto you that if you be circumcised, Messiah shall profit you nothing. For I testify again to every man that is circumcised that he is a debtor to do the whole law. Messiah is become of no effect unto you, whosoever of you are justified by the law. You are fallen from grace. For we through the Spirit wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. What is he saying here? Let's de-Christianize this thing and make it sound what it really is saying. He's saying to us, brothers and sisters, to get caught up in man-made rules put you in bondage. The truth of Yah is so powerful in its simplicity that it makes you free from sin. What was going on here? There were Pharisees that created a whole set of rules that Yah never created. And they would use Yah's laws as foundation for these sets of rules. How to wash, what to do, how to dress, blah, 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 blah. They would use Yah's word as foundations of a whole lot of man-made stuff. And they used circumcision as one of them. So they would tell all the Gentiles, if you really want to be part of the nation, if you want to be grafted in, and that's what was going on, you need to be circumcised to be grafted in. And Paul was saying righteousness is what the thing is about. It's about the spirit of righteousness and obedience to Yah's covenant. You don't need to be circumcised to be obedient to Yah's covenant. You're a Gentile. You need his spirit. We wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. That's what he's saying. He said, you are not justified. You are not declared innocent because you cut some skin off your penis. You are declared innocent because of the righteousness of the Father's Son. We, through the Spirit, that is the Father's Spirit, wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. Because brothers and sisters, let me explain to you, when righteousness dominates this earth, there'll be no more sin. There'll be no more exploitation. There'll be no more disease. There'll be no more death. We wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. Hebrews got circumcised, but we're talking here to Gentiles that are converted. He's telling them, y'all don't need to get circumcised. Don't think you are being justified by the Father in your circumcision. He don't care about your circumcision in terms of your receiving of righteousness. That's just not. Now, you could be circumcised if you want to, but he's saying that does not give you righteousness. It doesn't make you any closer to the Father. Circumcision was given to as a sign of righteousness that we had already through Abraham and Abraham's children. That did not change. But this, he's talking to Gentiles here. Y'all want to be grafted in. That was the point. He said Pharisees had come and they brought this thing saying that you got to be circumcised. He said there were people that came that you know, he didn't know who they was, but they came telling the people you need to be circumcised. It's in the same letter. He says in chapter 2. Right, watch. Chapter 2, from verse 1 down to verse 4. Then 14 years after, I went up to Jerusalem with Barnabas and took Titus with me also. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them the gospel which I preach among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should run or had run in vain. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised. And that because of false brethren, unawares, brought in, who came in privily to spy out our liberty, which we have in Messiah Yahushua, that they might bring us into bondage. They were telling Titus he needed to be circumcised, and he's like, "No, I don't need to be circumcised." Oh yeah, you need to be circumcised, and you need to keep all what the Pharisees taught. No. See, we got examples of that today. We're barely awakening and we already got it. Wait till the awakening is in full effect. Like in terms of like you see a lot more tens of thousands of people come to this truth. Then you're gonna really see some stuff. But right now it's already started. Just the other day I had some fool coming here talking about, where's your beard? Do I need a beard to obtain righteousness? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Do I need a beard to obtain righteousness? Of course not. Do I need a beard to obtain perfection of spirit, of character? Do I need a beard to overcome sin? No, I do not. See, it's already started. It's the same principle. People had beards in the Bible and they were told how to cut them, right? So now we got fools saying, where's your beard, right? Abraham was told to be circumcised and all the males in his house. But now we have fools that were making a whole religion out of circumcision. Paul said, no, the object is righteousness. We're looking for the hope of righteousness, brothers and sisters. So that if a person is not circumcised, but they obey the covenant of Yah, they worship no other gods. They don't take his name in vain. They don't bow down to any image or any man-made religion. They keep the Sabbath, right? They honor their parents. They do not steal or commit adultery or murder, right? They don't covet something that's material, that belongs to somebody else. They're Yah's. If his spirit has printed righteousness into their character, they belong to him, whether they circumcised or not, whether they Caucasian or Chinese, which is also Caucasian, excuse me. Whether they from Caucasian or from Ham or from Yafet, whichever. Okay? Righteousness is the key. And brothers and sisters, that's as Yah's chosen people, that's what we're looking for. Because we know that's going to bring it on. That's going to bring the whole thing to a close. And we need it to come to a close. Where are those that's sighing, crying for all these evils? When you see people that are poor, people on the street begging, people hooked on heroin, on crack, on opioids. Yeah, some of them got that stuff coming because of what they did to us. Yeah, it's true. But, right, don't we want all this stuff to end? Don't we want all this stuff to come to an end? Do we? Because there's a lot of people that want it to continue. The people that are living well, that have a nice gig or a nice business and they're making good money. And even during this virus, unfortunately, they got to tap into their big time savings to keep going. But they ain't suffering. They want it to continue. They don't want it to end. Arrogant bastards. But there's a lot of them, excuse me. There's a lot of them. They want it to continue. They want you to think everything is good. It's not as bad as he's saying. This man is preaching fire and brimstone. If there's one person suffering on the earth, we're all in trouble. And let me tell you something. There's way more, millions, tens of millions suffering right now. We're waiting for the hope of righteousness. Brothers and sisters, we serve a God that cannot be stopped. He's keeping silence. But as he's silent, you see, he's not just sitting here like this, silent. He's not just sitting there silent, watching. What's he doing? Quiet as kept. Quiet as kept. He is working on his people. Quiet as kept. He is developing righteousness in the chosen. Who are the chosen? They're not on television. You're not going to see them on national TV. They don't have 1 million subscribers. They're not going viral. And he's working on them. He's developing them day by day, hour by hour. He's preparing them to receive the seal. These are the ones that he said, put a mark on the ones that sigh and that cry for the abominations. Put a mark on them. Those are mine. Start with that 144,000. Don't let nothing come off yet until I seal them. See, everybody think he's quiet, but what he's really doing, he's working with his people. See, brothers and sisters, Messiah walked the earth as a man for 3.5 years. In a ministry, I mean. He walked the earth totally for 33.5 years. Okay. But what was he doing? Aside from working miracles among the Israelites, right? Walking, like I said, I love to read about how he walked through whole villages, man, and just healed everybody. I love that. And that's what another reason we should want his spirit, because we're going to be able to do that. Walk through villages and towns of people and heal people. Do you know what would happen if we did that? They'd arrest us. No, I'm serious. They'd arrest us. If Messiah was to walk into a major hospital in any city, right? Walk in the front door, start in the emergency room, and just heal everybody and keep walking through every floor and every place and healing everybody. Before he was done, he would be arrested. He would be arrested. You say, what? Yes, because the pharmaceutical companies wouldn't be making money on that. The equipment companies and medical supplies wouldn't be making money on that. Doctors and nurses wouldn't be making money on that. He'd be arrested. For malpractice, for practicing medicine without a license. He'd be arrested. But we're going to do it. And I love to read about stuff like that. He walked through whole villages. Somebody got a leprosy. Leprosy is an ugly thing, brothers and sisters, and it's afflicting people right now. He would be touching people. You'd be healed. He would be healing people, casting out devils, walk in one side of a town, and then walk out the other side, and everybody healed. No disease. That's what Messiah was doing. And he said, I don't do anything of myself. Whatever I see my Father do, that's what I do. That's what he said. And Father has set him forth for us to be like him. He said, you're going to do greater works than these because I go to my Father. That's what he said. This stuff's got to end, man. It's got to. And so those of us that give a crap enough about seeing this stuff and want to end it, listen, if marching did it, we would march. If creating organizations like Black Panthers would do it, we would do it. But we have already seen none of these things work. There's only one thing left, brothers and sisters. It's our Creator. It's not white Jesus. He doesn't exist. He cannot help you. He hasn't helped anybody. What is he doing? Where is he? You know who white Jesus is? Donald Trump, Joe Biden. That's who white Jesus is. Are they helping you? Joel Osteen, is he helping you? You know what these people are? Most High. Thieving, lying bastards. That's what they are. And I can't wait to see what they got coming. And in order for that to happen, brethren, we need righteousness. We need truth. Forget everything else, man. Forget these churches, your family, your all these people that may trying to stop you from coming to the truth, calling you whatever name they want to call you, whatever cult they claim you in. Seek truth, man. Seek the truth. Isaiah chapter 40. Isaiah chapter 40. Last night we read from verse 1. I believe we went down to verse 5, right? So the Bible said that the rough places are going to be made smooth, the hills are going to be brought low, and the valleys are going to be brought up. What does all that mean? What that means, brothers and sisters, he's going to make everything fair, balanced, and right. Why is that? Because, brothers and sisters, that's what the earth was before it was invaded by a rebellious, evil spirit called Asatan. Before that, it was in perfect harmony. You know, this morning, my wife and I went for a walk, just this very morning, man. And we walking, my wife, you know, she gets distracted when we talking easily. Drives me crazy sometimes. You know, we talking, I'm telling her something, she's, oh, look at this. And I'll be like, what, really? Well, this morning she did it. Love the woman to death. But she said, what's that over there? It's like, what is it now? Well, this time she had something. There was this giant, like, turtle, man. Like it had claws and mess. It was big turtle. And it was like on the road, and like I thought because it was near like a sewer, and I thought because it rained a lot over the last 24 hours, and maybe it got washed out, right? And I was like, whoa, look at this turtle, man. And my wife said, we got to move it. I said, I ain't touching that thing. As it turned out, I took a picture of it and I sent it to the neighborhood watch. And somebody said, be careful, that's a snapping turtle. To bite off your fingers. So I didn't touch it. So my wife, there was this man coming out with his wife and children, Spanish. My wife, I said, man, ask him. So the man went and got some plastic gloves because we didn't have no gloves. And he went over there to touch the turtle. He went to the back of the turtle. Boy, it raised up and started moving like faster than you think a turtle move, right? The man's backed up and he's like, yo. I said, man, don't mess with it. The turtle ran underneath the car, right? See, now there was a time when we would have been in harmony with the turtle. We wouldn't be scared of the turtle, and the turtle wouldn't be scared of us. See, turtles, if you look up turtles, right? Turtles could live for centuries. Do you know turtles could live 200-300 years? Yeah, turtles live a long time. This one man might have been 100 years old. The only time a turtle's life is in danger is when he's in touch with human beings. That's when he's in danger, and they know that. You understand? They know that. But there was a time when all nature was in harmony with man, and man was in harmony with nature. Everything was in balance. There was no thing out of balance. They weren't scared of us, and we weren't scared of them. Everybody got what they needed from nature, and nobody had to destroy each other to get what they needed. And everything was in harmony and power, and it was all love. That was the thing, man. It was like that. It's not like that now. So that I see the turtle, I want to help the turtle, but yo, I ain't touching him. Not me. I'm just saying. You see, so this is where we are. It's just a microcosm of what we're dealing with on the earth. Everything's out of whack, out of balance. Earth is not in harmony anymore. Everything is out of harmony. You see how these seasons are coming? Like you get 70 degrees when it's supposed to be 30 outside, and you get 30 when you're thinking it's going to be 70. Brothers and sisters, the whole creation is out of whack, man. But the Most High is saying here, he's going to bring it all back into harmony. Everything's going to be balanced again. It's not going to be out of balance with hills like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying literally talking about there won't be a hill or a valley. That's not what he's saying. He's talking about everything being back level in harmony. That's what's talking about. That's what he's talking about. Okay. He wants everything back in harmony. And that's what righteousness is going to do. It's going to bring everything back into harmony. Father's righteousness, not ours. It's Father's righteousness that's going to do that. That's why it's important that we receive Father's spirit. See, if we try to do it ourselves, all we're going to do is mess it up. I mean, look, that's what's going on, right? Every time man tries to fix something, he ends up making it worse. Adam tried to fix his situation. Do you remember? Once he sinned, what did he do? He realized the spirit was off of him now. So he started getting fig leaves to cover himself up. Fig leaves. Really? And he was scared. Can't fix it now, Adam. Cat's out the bag. Boom. Can't fix it. And brothers and sisters, we need our Father's spirit for this to get fixed. It's got to be all destroyed and done over. The whole house needs to be taken down. Now, people that are benefiting from this exploitation, they're going to be telling you, and that's why they got television. Why do you think they got television? Television is a brainwashing tool to let you think the way things they want you to think, to make you think things they're evil that they want you to think are evil, to make you scared about things they tell you to be scared about, to make you worried about things you shouldn't be worried about, and to make you hate things you shouldn't hate. That's what television is for. It's a mind control technique. Just imagine a camera in a room, right? A camera in a room with a person. That's all you're dealing with. And they broadcast this. We're doing it right now on YouTube, right? And they broadcast it, right? And they tell you what to think. They tell you who to hate. They tell you who the good guy is, and they tell you who the bad guy is. And you believe it. You buy it hook, line, and sinker. They can make you scared just by putting on the broadcast. They can put something on the broadcast, on the news. All of a sudden, you're scared to death and you can't sleep because of what you just saw. They can also tell you, oh, it's not as bad as you think it is. Oh, they're making such a big deal out of these things. For example, we're in a very corrupt medical care system. We talked about it, right? We're in a very corrupt medical system. Okay? So that people can't afford the care they need, right? Like I said, I was in an accident about 3 weeks ago now. I was in an accident and an ambulance picked me up, took me to the hospital. A second ambulance took me to a second hospital to see specialists. And my bill was almost $16,000. I got into the ambulance at about 12:30, and I left the hospital at 7 that night. And within those 7 hours, $16,000. It's a corrupt system we're in, man. Every time a doctor walked in the room to talk to me, I'm not even exaggerating. Doctor walked in the room because they wanted me to go to a specialist. They said to me, I told y'all this before, but they said to me, "Oh, we don't know if your kidneys are bleeding. You know, you got damage to your kidneys. We don't know if they're bleeding." Now I already urinated and I ain't see no blood. I ain't say nothing though. I said I'll be all right. They said, "Oh no, Mr. Sir, no, sir, you might die." That's how they get you. Skin for skin, Asatan said. All that a man has, he'll give for his life. They know this. They live by this principle in the medical system. They don't care how much debt they put you in. You're on the hook. So I said to her, I don't care about death. I said it to her. You ask my wife. I said, I don't care about death. I'm not worried about dying. And she looked at me. She said, "Sir, you might die." She didn't know how to react to my reaction. And I said, "I just told you. If I die, I just die then. I ain't worried about that." And I said it just like I'm looking at you. And then she looked over at my wife because my wife was scared. So she played on her. "But your family might not want you to die. You might be bleeding to death and we don't know it. You should get it checked out." Really, Mr. Gus, so I insist. So when I looked at my wife, I gave in and I said, okay. So they sent me in another ambulance, $700 for the ride. $700 for the ride. And then they sent me to the second hospital. Doctor talks to me. walks in the room and talks to me. After, of course, I'm waiting in that room for a while with my leg throbbing. All I want to do is go home and put some ice on. Doctor walks in. You're right, Mr. Glasgow. It's just a bruise. And your knee is very badly bruised, but you didn't break anything. Your leg didn't break anything. You got a lot of swelling in your body. You just need to rest. I'm going to prescribe some pain relievers. But he said I need to just consult with another doctor. Okay. So then he comes back with another doctor. Doctor says the same thing. He pokes me a little bit, different places. How's this feel? How does this feel? Are you all right? This hurt. Then they say, we think we're correct in our diagnosis, but we want to talk to the head of the trauma doctor surgeon to come and talk to you to make sure. Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. Each one of those people that came in to talk to me and tell me I was okay, each one of them charged me $2,500 a piece just to come in and say, you need to go home and rest. For the consultation, $2,500. Must have taken them 5 minutes, maybe 10 each. It's a pretty good gig, isn't it? Then the doctor that said to me, it's a fourth doctor. And she said, I'm going to prescribe some hydro, whatever, and I'm going to give you that, and then you take this Tylenol. That was $1,000 for that advice. $1,000. Every nurse that touched my cart got paid individually. Of course, every x-ray, every CAT scan. And they were talking about keeping me overnight. And I said, hell no. I said, I'm not staying here tonight. I'm leaving tonight. Keep me for what? Charge me the most expensive hotel room in the world? My bill would have probably been double. Then they said, well, okay, who's your local doctor? I told them who my doctor was. You need to go see him in 3 days just to make sure everything's all right. For what? For him to go back and tell me, go ahead and rest. And here's my bill for $1,000 for telling you to do that. This is a corrupt medical system. And yet they'll tell you on television, Barack Obama really helped the medical system with Obamacare. That's some garbage. He ain't do nothing for us. Garbage. You know what they was fighting about? How can they keep making money off of us and make us think they did something for us? And you know how the United States of America is the only country in the world of the major countries that doesn't offer health care to everybody. See, all the other countries pay more taxes, but everybody could walk into a hospital anytime they want and get treated and never have a bill. Not here, though. Not here. $15,000, $16,000 for 7 hours for them to send me home. Brothers and sisters, this is corruption. That's what I'm saying. I just gave you a little example. There's corruption all over the place. All over the place. And they spend time on television telling you, we got a great system. We got a fantastic system. Oh, everybody has access. And you believe these fools because they smile at you and they either Democrat or Republican. And you either Democrat or Republican. And they go to church, so they conservative. And you believe it. I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to the day when Yah does what he says. He's going to make every hill low and every valley up. He's going to make it plain. He's going to set it right. I cannot wait. That's why we need righteousness, brothers and sisters. See? That's why we need righteousness. Because this corruption's got to end. This is bad. This is really bad. And you know what? You got to be careful. See, I was the fool on my motorcycle, but suppose I was that poor lady that was in the car I hit. You sitting at a light, and here comes this fool on a motorcycle at your car. You ain't doing nothing. And thank goodness she wasn't hurt. She wasn't hurt. But suppose she did get hurt. Suppose her neck was hurt. Then she had to go to the hospital too. Then she's going to sue me because that's the way the system is, right? She's going to sue me, and she's going to get a bill from the hospital. But she jumped out of the car. She was okay. But you see how corrupt the system is that we're in? It's corrupt. It's bad. It's really bad. Isaiah chapter 40. So now, verse 5 said, which is where we end up last night. I'm going to read from verse 5. I'm going to start going down from verse 5, and I'm going to go from verse 5 down to verse 9. Notice what it says. The glory of Yahweh shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of Yahweh have spoken it. Yes, indeed. That's what we're waiting for. That's the hope of righteousness by faith. That's what we're talking about, right? Praise Yah for his word. Some fools take Galatians and act like it's an island unto itself. Man, Galatians and Isaiah are tied, brothers and sisters. So is Ezekiel and Jeremiah and Deuteronomy. All together, man. It's one word from one God. Praise his name. Don't get deceived. Divide and conquer is what they're doing to us. Don't get deceived. It's one word. It's one Bible. It's one God. Notice. Then the voice said, verse 6, cry. And the prophet said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof as the flower of the field. The grass withereth, and the flower fadeth, because the spirit of Yahweh bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. Oh, yes. Even the most corrupt and the richest, even the most powerful people, like you have your Jeff Bezoses and your, what's his name, Bill Gates, they're going to die. See, their life is limited. Their life is limited. So no matter what they do, they're going to eventually die. Just like your Rockefellers, I don't care how many hearts he steals off brothers and buys from China, he's going to die eventually. Rothschild, they're going to die. They're just men like us. Oh yeah, Asatan's got them deceiving and thinking they're gods, but they're still going to die. Every king ever died. Every president ever died. Every billionaire eventually will die. All flesh is as grass. But you know who doesn't die? Our Father doesn't die. You know who's never going to die again? He said, behold, I am he that liveth and was dead. And behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and death. That's Mashiach Yahushua, the Hebrew Messiah, the brown one, tribe of Judah. The line of the tribe of Judah is never going to die again. And his father never died. And he can't lie. And when he come back, it's over. All flesh is grass. That's right. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our Most High shall stand forever. Oh, yes, brothers and sisters. Proverbs tell us this, right? This agrees with Proverbs, obviously. We may say, somebody saying, what does Proverbs say? This is what it say. The lip of truth shall stand forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Let me say that again. The lip of truth shall stand forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Be in truth, brothers and sisters. Be in truth. It doesn't matter who it costs you. If it costs you all your family and friends, be in truth. If you got to be by yourself until Messiah comes, be in truth. Because the lip of truth is going to stand forever. But a lying tongue don't last long. It's not going to last. It eventually is going to die. Even Asatan is going to the pit. The father of lies is going to the pit. The Bible tells us that. He's going to be in the pit. Oh, yes. Stay with truth. Because the day's going to come. Can you imagine? We be in the kingdom with all the prophets and all the people of old. We're going to see Moses and this Isaiah and Jeremiah. We're going to see Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. We're going to see all of the people from all of the ages that serve truth. And brothers and sisters, we're going to have, boy, what a fellowship we're going to have. What a party is going to be. That's what we're looking forward to. And nobody's going to be without. Nobody's going to be lacking. Nobody's going to be sick. See, you ain't got to worry about it then. We're in a war now. Don't worry if you got to be by yourself, if nobody's with you, if people try to talk about you. Don't worry about that. Follow truth. The word of Yah will abide forever. The lip of truth shall be forever. A lying tongue is but for a moment. Lies can't live forever, brothers and sisters. And this whole system is built on lies. That's what we're talking about. This whole corrupt system is built on lies. Therefore, it cannot last. Anything that's not built on the foundation of perfect righteousness is going to be destroyed. Anything. I don't care if it's church or a corporation or person. Anything not built on perfect righteousness is going to be destroyed. And it needs to be. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 9. I'm going to start. Let me read verse 8 again and go from verse 8 now. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our Most High shall stand forever. O Zion, that bringeth good tidings, get thee up into the high mountain. O Jerusalem, that bringeth good tidings, lift up thy voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, behold your God. That's it, brothers and sisters. Behold your God. Who is your God? See, brothers and sisters, the Most High is blessing us in these last days with this knowledge. We know who our God is. We even know what he looks like. Isn't that amazing? He's invisible, but he has already told us what he looks like. And he's already explained to us what's getting ready to happen. It's called prophecy. And he's blessing us with this knowledge so that we are not surprised and we are prepared. Behold your God. They're not going to get over. They're not going to get over. The game is almost up. That's why we just need to sigh and cry. You know what he said to Moses? That is, when Yah came to deliver Egypt, he said, look, let's read it. Let's read it. Let's read it. What am I talking about? That's one we need to read. Exodus. Exodus chapter 3. Exodus chapter 3. Watch this. Exodus chapter 3. Watch this, because this is what's going. This is again the situation in Egypt with the children of Israel. We need to see that as an object lesson of what we're going to be seeing today, and what we are seeing today. See, if it's a male, if it's a Hebrew male, throw it in the river. It's the same principle. If it's a Hebrew male, kill him, shoot him in the street. You'll get off. Throw him in jail. State will pay for it. If he got disease, let him die. He ain't got no money to pay, too bad. Oh, he can't work no more, get rid of him. Get somebody younger in here. Hasn't changed. Hasn't changed. And it won't. It's going to get worse until righteousness arrives. Okay? Exodus chapter 3. Okay? Let's start with verse 2. Exodus chapter 3, verse 2. We'll start at verse 2. Start at verse 2 and go down to verse 8. Actually, verse 2 to verse 9. Notice what it says. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, while the bush is not burnt. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, the Most High called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, Ahiah, the Most High of thy father, the Most High of Abraham, the Most High of Isaac, and the Most High of Jacob. Moses hid his face when he was afraid to look upon the Most High. And Yahweh said, this is it right here, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Mizraim, and I've heard their cry, see, sighing and crying, by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Mizraim or the Egyptian, to bring them up out of that land into a good land, and a land flowing with milk and honey, into a place of the Canaanites, and of the Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. Now, therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come unto me. And I also have seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Yes. Those that sigh and that cry for the abominations done in the midst, set a mark on their forehead. Don't do anything. Hold them winds until we seal that 144,000. Then it's on. Then it's on. Isaiah chapter 40. Isaiah chapter 40. We're going to take a little break after this one and come back and continue. Isaiah chapter 40. Behold, Isaiah 40, I'm reading from verse 10. Behold, the Most High Yahweh will come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. Didn't we read that in Revelation? Messiah said, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. Here it is. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm and carry them in his bosom. He shall gently lead those that are with young. Oh, yes. Praise the Most High. Brothers and sisters, it's coming to a conclusion, but we need to be prepared. We need to call upon the Father. He wants us to do that. He said, I've heard their cry. He said, I've seen their oppressions and I'm acquainted with their sorrows. Brothers and sisters, this thing hasn't changed. This awakening is prophesied. This is the time. Are you tired of seeing this crap? Are you tired of seeing it? Are you tired of these excrement politicians standing before you grandstanding and giving you BS? Are you tired of that? Are you tired of these so-called black people, these coons on television calling themselves our leaders? Are you tired of that? Are you tired of this corruption whereby rich get richer and poor get crushed? Are you tired of that? Are you tired of governments exploiting their people so that entire segments of their population are starving to death? Are you tired of that? If you are, start seeking the Creator. Start seeking truth, man. Start looking for results. We're going to take a break right now. And we're going to come back by the grace of the Most High and continue in Isaiah chapter 40. It's going to be a part 3 to this one. As you can see, it's necessary. We'll be back in about 20 minutes. And I'm going to open another room. I'm going to open another YouTube video, and we'll start from here, y'all. That's in YouTube land. I'm going to open another, we call it another live stream in 20 minutes. So now it's 12:27. Let's call it 12:30, about 12:50 Eastern time. I'm in DC area. About 12:50 Eastern time, we're going to come back and we're going to start again. So yeah, that's what I mean. It's like 23 minutes from now. I'm going to take a little break right now. And 23 minutes from now, we'll come back and we'll do this again by the grace of the Most High. Continue to pray for us that we be faithful to this truth, because we know corruption is rampant.